Oh boy. The pettiness of little leviathan, i.e. local government crushing individual rights, seems to know no bounds. And this is the case in Prescott Valley, Arizona, where a woman has been set upon by code enforcers because, get this, in addition to flying her U.S. flag in her front yard, she flies a Trump 2020 flag beneath a U.S. flag variant in her backyard. Oh, the lessons we're going to pull. Hi, fellow rebels. I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRCTV. And here's the story. According to Danielle Miller of Fox 10 Phoenix, local code enforcers for Prescott Valley, Arizona, spotted residents Tawney Baccellia threatening lives, freedom, and the property of others. Oh, wait a minute. No, she was actually just flying flags on her own property. But evidently the city enforcers can't tell the difference between aggressive attacks on others and peaceful use of one's own property. Miller reports that in September, the code cops told Ms. Baccellia that she had to take down her Trump flag because it was against city code, and that if she didn't, she'd face hundreds in fines.
Tawney Baccellia says after talking with code enforcement, she was told the reasoning for the violation was you can only fly a political flag 60 days before a campaign and 30 days after. Also, you can't have any flag flying beneath the American flag.
Isn't patriotism fantastic? Small governments get to employ it as an excuse to violate civil rights, rights that are supposed to be respected by people who claim to be American patriots. Explained Ms. Baccellia.
It was shocking that somebody would try to tell me what I can and cannot fly in my own yard.
Amen to that, Ms. Baccellia. And ironically, Mayor Kel Paguda is actually on her side.
She's demonstrating her First Amendment right, and she has every right to. And who are we to tell her no?
And this is where this crazy situation offers us long-term lessons. See, as laudable as Mayor Paguda's statement appears, it's only partly right. See, he says Ms. Baccellia has every right to fly her flag. Absolutely right. But his use of the vernacular shorthand First Amendment right has to remind us that the right to free speech and all rights precede the First Amendment and the Constitution. It's not created by the First Amendment. No, he was likely just using some sort of shorthand vernacular that everybody's familiar with. But his very use of this small difference opens up an even larger lesson about the First Amendment, and that's the fact that the First Amendment actually only prohibits Congress from infringing on speech. See, the First Amendment specifies that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. In fact, local governments had all kinds of speech laws on the books, and states even sponsored religious schools in the United States until the late 1800s. Now, some claim that the first clause of the 14th Amendment does what they call incorporating the Bill of Rights into state constitutions. But that is not the case. And even if it were the case, incorporating the First Amendment into state constitutions would bring the wording of the First Amendment into it, and still only Congress would be prohibited, not the states. But regardless of that, the fact is that most U.S. courts have adopted this incorporation doctrine, as it's called, so that if this were to come to the Supreme Court and Ms. Baccellia had to push it all the way up there, the court would probably find in her favor. Well, the fact is, she says she's not going to take down her flags. She says she's proud of her president, and the U.S. flag variant that she flies is a thin blue line flag honoring police officers.
I'm not taking it down. I believe, too many men and women died fighting for our freedom of speech.
Well, it's expected that in February, the codes will be changed in this area, and thanks to the mayor and a number of other people, she won't have to worry anymore. But the situation brings to mind some very important final thoughts. For example, what if Ms. Baccellia kept flying her flags and the government didn't change the code? What if she didn't pay the fines. And let's say in refusing to pay the fines, she was called to court. And if she refused to leave her home to go to the court to answer the government's demands, well, indeed, police, those very men on the thin blue line for whom she flies the flag, would be sent to arrest her. Now, perhaps they would refuse the order, but the lesson is clear. The government would be ordering police to carry out aggressive actions against a woman who flies a flag supporting those police officers. That's a strange reality. In fact, the fact that a woman flies a flag supporting the very armed force that could be called out to arrest her for flying the flag. Well, welcome to the board game of government called modern America. Freedom and logic are not necessarily included. Hey, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Remember, like and subscribe. Join us over at MRCTV.org and tell your friends about these videos. It's really important that we count on you to help circumvent some of the censorship out there on social media. For MRCTV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.